Solving equations. This is a review of part 3. In today's lesson, students will solve equations by adding a number to both sides using integers. Using what? Very good. So, to review, we're learning how to solve equations by adding a number to both sides. Now, in the equation itself, you're going to see a subtraction sign. The expression will be x minus a number. So you always want to do the opposite of that. What is the opposite of subtraction? The opposite of subtraction is addition. What is it? Addition. Okay, so what ends up happening is when you add the integers on this side of the t, okay, you end up with different signs. When you add integers with different signs, what do? You do what? You subtract, right? So let's go ahead and write that down. This is the second part of the adding integers song, and it says, when adding integers with different signs, again, different is one is positive and one is negative. Subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the higher number. Go ahead and get that down. And remember our friend Bob's cousin. Who is this? Okay, and he basically tells us the one thing you need to know about Bob's cousin is that you want to really look at with different signs, the eye and the mouth, because a negative times a positive is negative. Now, when you multiply signs, okay, when you multiply different signs, your answer is negative. But when you're adding different signs, for example, 4 plus negative 7, okay, the answer is whatever the sign of the higher number is. So if you look at 4 and 7, what's the bigger number? It's 7, right? Yeah. So here our answer will be negative. Now, when you're multiplying signs, you're actually looking at the sign and the parentheses. What do parentheses tell you to do? Parentheses tell you to multiply. So you're really multiplying. This is a positive 4 plus a negative 7. You're multiplying a positive times a negative here. Okay, what is positive times negative? It's what? It's negative, right? So what I'm saying is that if you are adding a 4 and a negative 7, that really means 4 minus 7. 4 take away 7. And you know that you can't actually take 7 away from 4, okay? Because when you try and take a bigger number from a smaller number, the answer is negative. It's what? Negative. So we've already talked about this. You have a positive 4 and a negative 7. So different signs, subtract, keep the sign of the higher number, which is negative. So the answer here is negative 3. Okay, so read equation 1 with me. You need to read it with me. Are you ready? Go. It says x minus 9 equals a negative 4. Okay, so first step, you know, is to make a t, to separate both sides of the equation. You're looking for what number, if you subtract 9, will give you a negative 4, so circle x. Now, again, remember what I said? What is the opposite of subtraction, or the opposite of a negative 9? Opposite of negative 9 is positive 9. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So make sure that you're adding. Okay? Now do the operations. Negative 9 and positive 9 make 0. Bring down the x. So now x equals negative 4 plus 9. Okay, do they have different signs here? Yes. So you say different sign, subtract. Okay, you're going to keep the sign of the higher number. So I'm just going to write it on the side right here. You're really talking about 9 minus 4, okay? 9 minus 4, which is what? What's 9 take away 4? It's 5, right? And what's the sign of the higher number? It's 9, and 9 is positive. So the answer to this one is actually positive 5. Let's check the value of x. The original equation is x minus 9 equals negative 4. We're going to plug in a positive 5 right here, and look what happens. You get 5, which is positive, minus 9. Okay. Remember from our example, when you're taking a bigger number from a smaller number, the answer is going to be negative. Different signs, that's a positive 5 and a negative 9. Subtract, you do get negative 4. Okay, go ahead and get that down. Okay, let's read equation number 2. It says, read it with me, x minus 2 equals negative 8. Okay, so let's first solve this equation by making a t, and then circle x because that's what you're looking for. All right, look at the number next to x. It's negative 2. What is this? Negative 2. Okay, what's the opposite of negative 2? Positive 2. So you're going to add 2 to both sides. All right. So a negative 2 and a positive 2 makes 0. Bring down the x. So now x is going to equal negative 8 plus 2. Okay, negative 8 plus 2. So do these have different signs? They're different colors, right? Different signs? What do you do with different signs? You subtract. And you keep the sign of the higher number. What's the bigger number? 8 or 2? 8. So because 8 is negative, okay, you're going to write negative. And now subtract. 8 take away 2. You say 8, 7, 6. So the answer, or the value of x, is negative 6. So rewrite the equation. Let's check it. X minus 2 equals negative 8. If you substitute negative 6 in the place of x, you're going to get a negative 6 and a negative 2. What is negative 6 minus 2, or negative 6 and negative 2? Do they have the same signs? Yes. So you say same signs, add and keep. So you're going to keep the negative. 6 plus 2 is 8. So this is a true statement. So our answer is correct. Let's read our last example. Okay. The equation says, read it. X minus 6 equals negative 1. Okay, so let's solve this equation. Let's solve for x. First, we're going to make a t. And you know we're solving for what? We're solving for x, so you circle x. What is the opposite of negative 6? The opposite of negative 6 is positive 6. Very good. So you're going to add 6 to both sides here. All right? Okay, so let's do the operations. You have a negative 6 and a positive 6 make 0. Bring down the x. What are you doing? Bringing down the x. On this side of the equation, you have a negative 1 and a positive 6. Do they have different signs? Yes. So you say different signs, subtract. And what you need to realize is if this is a positive 6 minus 1, isn't that just telling you 6 take away 1? Positive 6 take away 1? Yeah. Okay. So what is 6 take away 1? It is 5, and the bigger number is 6 or 1? 6. So this is positive 5. All right. So the value of x is positive 5. We check our answer by rewriting the original equation. All right. You have x minus 6 equals negative 1, remember? Now we're going to substitute 5 in the place of x. So think about it. Is 5 take away 6? Does that give you negative 1? Okay, do they have different signs, positive 5 and negative 6? Yes, there is a positive sign even though you don't see it. So when you subtract 6 minus 5, you get 1. And what's the bigger number? It's 6. And that's why it is negative 1. Go ahead and get that down.